this is nothing but ln C infinity over C1. So ln C infinity over C1 is nothing but 2V gamma over RT. So this is nothing but 2 molar volume gamma over RT. Notice this ln, understood? RT I am just taking here. So ln C2 over C1 is 2V gamma over M over RT, and R2 is infinity. So this is 0. So minus 1 over R1. So minus 1 over R1. So what will be C1?
Into C infinity.
What? Into C infinity. I didn't understand.
This term
Is it?
plus.
Where is your conclusion?
No, this is multiplied. C1. Into C infinity.
Where is your conclusion? I am not understanding. Is there any confusion here?
No.
Is it fine? Then what is the expression for C1?
C1 equal to C infinity into 1 plus
C1 equal to
C infinity plus
C infinity
plus
1 plus
1 plus
2 Vm gamma
2 Vm gamma
by RCR.
RT and radius of the particle. So if there is a particle of radius, particular radius r, then the concentration here, how that is related to concentration given by the phase diagram, is given by this equation. So this is a simplified form of this, and this is called Thomson's find equation. This is an important equation. For particle size effect on the particle size effect on the solubility, it's an important equation. Understood? So what is C? C is the composition of alpha. C infinity is the composition of alpha given by the equilibrium phase diagram. C1 is composition of alpha in equilibrium with a precipitate of size R1. C1 or C, just whatever, with composition of alpha, composition of the matrix in equilibrium with the precipitate, which you can think of it as a solubility of that precipitate also. So this equation is used for deriving various Coursening kinetics. So we discuss the Coursening kinetics. What is Coursening kinetics? Because with time something is varying. Kinetics is anything which is varying with time. What is varying with time here? The average size. Average particle size increases. That is R bar or RF increases. So how RF increases or R bar increases with time, that's the kinetics. That's what we will see the derivation of. But this equation, in all the derivations, this equation, this fundamental equation will be used. Okay, how the composition changes because of radius. And ultimately, what you will find if diffusion controlled kinetics it is, there will be two aspects. One is this transport of atom from here to here, and another is this transport across the interface. So here also there can be interface controlled or diffusion control. Most of the cases it is the diffusion in the matrix control. Okay, so if diffusion control process, then you will find that average radius, whether you denote it by Rm or R bar, it actually varies at time t equal to 0. So Rm0 say should be 30 kT. All the equations that we derive, if it is diffusion control process, will be of this type of equation where K is function of diffusivity of the solute in the matrix, the interfacial energy. So K is proportional to, instead of function, let me directly put that this is proportional to diffusivity, interfacial energy, and also this C alpha. The C infinity or C alpha. So if you want to design an alloy, so just do not focus on to achieve the fine precipitate distribution, but also focus on that at the service temperature this should not be high enough so that K is high, kinetics is high. So somehow you have to make control on this. Somehow we have to use certain elements that will have less diffusivity. Certain elements that will actually decreases the interfacial energy between the two, between the precipitate, and so interfacial energy is usually decreased by making the interface coherent. So coherent precipitates coarsening will be smooth. That's what is used in nickel-based superalloy. Nickel-based superalloy, which is why nickel-based superalloy is called superalloy. Because why this super thing comes? Because at high temperature it maintains its performance, it maintains its strength. And it is found that to a particular temperature range, at high temperature, strength increases with temperature rather than decreasing. There is something called KW lock formation. We are not going into detail of the exact mechanism that will be discussed, that must have been discussed in some other course, but that KW lock formation actually causes because of difference in antiphase boundary energy, different antiphase boundary energy for different crystallographic plane. This KW lock forms and gives you higher strength as you go to a higher temperature because of presence of this Ni3Al precipitate. Ni3Al precipitate, which is called gamma prime, is within the gamma matrix. Gamma matrix is the nickel matrix, FCC based matrix. This gamma prime interface is coherent, very low misfit. So your alloy design strategy should focus on putting those elements that will make the gamma prime interfacial energy very small. Otherwise, so where is this nickel-based superalloy used? Usually most of the cases in aeroplane engine, in the turbine section. So there is, if you consider an engine, gas is air is coming flowing through through the fan, that when you board the plane, you see a fan. That fan is just taking the air inside. That air goes through a compressor. So compressor is, there is disc and there will be blade. So that's the first stage is called compressor. So compressor has various stages, meaning various such discs. So it compresses that air that is being sucked into. That compressed air is now passed through the combustor. So it becomes very, very hot. When it passes through combustor, it's now compressed hot gas is coming out of the combustor. Just after combustor is the turbine. So first part of the turbine is called high pressure turbine and the latter part is called low pressure turbine. So high pressure turbine blades that are seeing very hot gas is coming with force. Okay, so at high temperature with that much force it has to withstand. So that's why nickel based superalloy is used usually in the turbine section. The compressor section where the temperature does not go above 200-300 degrees Celsius, compressor is before combustor. There titanium alloy is used, but after combustor, here nickel based superalloy is used. Okay, where the temperature goes very high. The disc material and then the blade material. Blade material sees higher temperature. So usually it is creep or sustained peak no cycle fatigue limited, and their gamma prime value fraction also you need more. In those cases, you do not want during service those gamma prime to coarsen, because coarsening not only changes your strength value, but also while it coarsens, the misfit between gamma prime also, it becomes from coherent to semi-coherent to incoherent. So gamma also increases. So coherent, so you do not want that. So you put some elements which reduces gamma. To put, and also you have those precipitates. Sometimes some precipitates are used like alumina or thoria. Some precipitates which do not have solubility in the matrix. Precipitate or the dispersal that do not dissolve in the matrix. So C alpha also very low. C alpha is the, either you can think of it as the, C alpha is nothing but solubility or the composition of the matrix which is in equilibrium with the precipitate. This person Greenwood in 1956, he actually derived with a very simple method an expression similar to this. Expression. Yeah, sir. C infinite. I always say, please do not get confused. This C and this C both are C alpha. That is the matrix. Alpha is the matrix. Matrix composition in equilibrium with infinite size precipitate. That means it is the matrix composition that is in equilibrium with the precipitate which is obtained from the phase diagram, equilibrium phase diagram. And this is the matrix composition in equilibrium with the precipitate of size R1. Any confusion till this point? What?
We're not taking the precipitate composition.
Precipitate composition comes here. This Bn is nothing but molar volume of the precipitate. This is molar volume of the precipitate. Precipitate size. This is precipitate size. This is gamma is interfacial energy between precipitate and the matrix. This is ideal gas constant. This is absolute temperature. And this C again I have to say, or you understand? Right? Now this derivation, what Greenwood gave long ago, follows this, that like before we say if there is a precipitate of certain size say small r, you can think of a spherical shell of radius r which is in the matrix. Okay, but starting from here to here. Okay, so the number of atoms going inside per unit time through this cell area, spherical cell, should be equal to 4 pi r square multiplied by the flux. That should be equal to here 4 pi r. That should be equal to C beta minus Cr. This here inside is C beta, just outside is Cr. Cr is the C1. Okay. So here it is concentration is Cr and inside C beta. This Cr is in alpha. Okay. So C beta minus Cr, if that is the concentration difference across the interface, that interface if it moves at a velocity dr dt, what it will be? Number of atoms per unit area per unit time that is crossing the interface multiplied by the area is 4 pi r square. That is per unit time this number of atoms are crossing the interface. Okay. Fine. And at a distance capital R, this is the number of atoms crossing that interface per unit time. In steady state, they are equal, whether it is here or here or here or here or at the interface. Okay. And you know, this usually this precipitate composition is much higher compared to the C alpha composition. So we can ignore C beta minus here, we can write it as C beta. We are ignore, so C beta minus Cr is almost equal to C beta because C beta is much larger than C alpha. C alpha in equilibrium with infinity is C infinity, in equilibrium with R is Cr. Because of that we can write that equation. So from that equation, just rearranging the things, fine? From here, I'm just rearranging the things. dr over r square, I am taking this side, and c beta dr dt r square, I am taking the other side. And I'm integrating it from r. This r is varying from small r to infinity.
So d into dc.
And when r, capital R equal to small r, your composition is CR, and capital R equal to infinity, that is far away from the precipitate, your composition is the average composition in the matrix. That is the composition in the matrix which is in equilibrium with the average size of the precipitate. So just do the integration. You will find that 1 over r equal to d c beta r square dr dt So what it is assumed, see here, what Greenwood assumed here, he did not take, he actually took r square dr dt out as like it is a constant. So he took dr dt as a constant. He took, r is the particle size, okay. So he took dr dt as a constant. So with respect to variation of capital R or composition, this variation of dr dt, he took it as a constant. Then he could take it out.
It's very different. Take it as constant.
So you can just rearrange this. It will be r dr dt, r dr dt should be equal to d over c beta multiplied by CRM minus CR. Now use your function kindly. If you have CRM, your CRM should be equal to C infinity. You understood what is CRM? You understood what is CRM? CRM is the matrix composition which is in equilibrium with the average size of the precipitate. There is a size distribution of precipitate. The average size, the average matrix composition is CRM. Deepak, you understood? Yes? You put R equal to Rm and you put R equal to R. So when you put R equal to Rm, it will be CRM. When you will put R, then you will get CR. Now take CRM minus CR. To do that, use Thomson-Findlay equation to find out the expression for CRM minus CR. CRM minus CR should be equal to 2 Vm gamma over RT multiplied by that C infinity 1 over Rm minus 1 over R. The Thomson-Findlay equation CRM should be equal to C infinity multiplied by 1 plus 2 Vm gamma over RT over Rm, and CR will be equal to C infinity multiplied by 1 plus 2 Vm gamma over RT over R. You just subtract one from another, you will get CRM minus CR equal to this. So this should be equal to So your R dr dt, the left hand side R dr dt equal to d over c beta multiplied by these 2 Vm gamma over RT infinity 1 over Rm minus 1 over R. So if notice this equation, what does it say? If your precipitate size, if your R is greater than Rm, what is Rm? Average size of the precipitates. If your R is greater than Rm, then if R greater than Rm, then what it is talking about dr dt. Dr dt will be positive or negative? Positive. If R less than Rm, dr dt, what does it dr dt negative mean? What does it mean? The size of the precipitate is decreasing, it is dissolving into the matrix. So if your size of the precipitate is smaller than the average size of the precipitate, then it will dissolve that in the matrix. If it is higher, then it will increase. Which value of R makes dr dt maximum? For R equal to what? Your dr dt is maximum. Tell me that, by that time I will do the roll call. David, answer.